All right, have and have not fans, happy Saturday. It's currently March 21st, 9:30 a.m., at least here in Virginia. What a week this has been, but honestly, I don't feel like I need to tell you what's been going on because if you've been looking at the news or social media, it's like every hour something else is, I don't know. First of all, rest in peace to Kenny Rogers. About to listen to a few of his songs after I finish recording these couple of videos and I start to edit them, but good grief. All right, well, for this video, and keep in mind, this is not a Veronica Harrington hate video. Let me just make that plain and simple. This is not a I hate Veronica Harrington and I wish she would die off the show. No. During one of the live streams I did yesterday, I did a lengthy Instagram live, then I did a couple of YouTube live streams, and also just a quick segue for the people, I did look at some of the comments on those live streams. Some people are like mad about the notifications. There is literally nothing I can do about that. Unless you hit the bell notification icon right beside the subscribe button, which you honestly both of those if you haven't already, those help you keep notified when I do stuff. But I am aware YouTube sometimes is wonky where there are people who have hit the notification bell but still aren't notified when I do live streams. That's why I don't really plan out live streams. They're pretty sporadic, or random. So I can't say that I'm sorry because it's something that I can't control. But on Instagram, I do believe you get notified. But yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Links to all my social media are in the description. But going back to one of the live streams, somebody brought up the point about how Ruthless, you know how Tyler Perry's like, wow, I can't believe Tyler Perry's going this dark. And it got me to thinking, Veronica Harrington, I think the reason that she's really rubbing people the wrong way, aside from the fact that it's become quite repetitive in her vindictive behavior, getting away with things, pretty much, Veronica and Eddie from If Loving You Is Wrong are pretty much one and the same in regards to a character always stirring the pot, raising hell, but they rarely get their comeuppance. And when they do, it's too short-lived. And then when it comes to it, you pretty much think they're about to get killed off or get locked up, but they somehow get weasel their way out of the consequences of their illegal and dangerous actions. So the topic that kind of shifted in the live stream was, is Tyler Perry kind of going too dark? And I'm not going to sit up here and try to critique like, man, he's going too dark. I like it better when he does the lighthearted comedic stuff with a little bit of drama. What I'm saying is, when you look at The Oval, and remember, like during the airing of The Oval, which is coming back in May, it's not canceled. Don't worry. It had a mid-season finale. It's coming back in, a couple months here. I just know everybody noticed how out of the gate, Victoria was meant to be Veronica 2.0. It was like during the first couple episodes, it's pretty much like, Veronica, Candace, and it's almost like he took some of the leading female characters from the haves and the have-nots and kind of put them in a blender, because look at the first couple episodes of The Oval. You will see a lot of the Catherine, Veronica, and Candace personas blended into each other. Not so much Hannah. I mean, Veronica's a black woman, so I can't say, well, yeah, Victoria's a black woman, so is Hannah. Now, not much of Hannah there, I just feel like he took the most domineering, controlling characters in the haves and the have-nots from the female, roster and put them into Victoria. So when it comes to shows like The Oval, I'm like, damn, this is getting dark, because if you look back at the first dozen episodes, so many deaths and threatening characters in the series compared to the first 10 episodes of this season of the haves and the have-nots, which was supposedly the deadliest season. The back half of the season better prove that. That's all I'm saying. But I feel like Veronica, if you go back to like the early seasons of the haves and have-nots, specifically season 1, season 2, the show wasn't meant to be as dark as it is now. And I mean, the show itself isn't, I feel like the haves and the have-nots is quite tame compared to the shows Tyler Perry's working on now. And really, I'm trying to stay within the barrier of Tyler Perry Studios, because obviously you can list out plenty of examples of darker dramas, darker dramedies, darker soap operas, whatever you want to say. But I just want to stick with Tyler Perry on this one. Talking about the haves and the have-nots, when it came to like the mentally unstable characters, it was Amanda at the forefront, Amanda Cryer. But it's almost like when she got killed off, that unstableness kind of shifted gears from Amanda to Veronica. And it felt strange how that happened, because okay, at that point, I feel like, and you can debate me on this, but I feel like back during the beginning of season 3, which I believe is called season 2 now, was like the power dance. This was after, Jim was taken away by Warlock and his crew and locked in the basement and whatnot. And, Candace extorted the, at that time, $7.4 million. I feel like at that point in the series, the baton of the bad bitch was taken away, or I guess you could say handed from Candace to Veronica. That's what I feel like, because if you look at how dark it got, Candace had him in like an electric chair and stuff like that. But then you get to even darker tones, like, Veronica's alcoholism and pain pill abuse, whatever you want to call it, burning down houses, her homophobia and things like that. And as time went on, I feel like Veronica as a character began to deteriorate. See, I don't mean, look, I know one of the slogans from the call center was, simply right is better than fancy and wrong. So I know that sometimes when I go to say a $5 word, I might mess up, but that's okay. Mentally, I'm like thinking a word, but it doesn't get out my mouth correctly. It's like the character of Veronica began to deteriorate, and what's left is this villainous character who seems too dark for the haves and the have-nots. And just going from sheer memory without, doing like a lot of research, the moment I felt the haves and the have-nots truly shifted gears for me, like when it took like, oh shit, here's a dark point and no return. I believe it was like the mid-season finale of season 2. When it aired, it was originally season 2, not season 1. It was the episode where Candace said that she was pregnant, pretty much said that in front of Catherine, Veronica, David, Maggie, and Jim. And then at the end of the episode, because Jim was like, meet me in the park, I'll bring the checkbook and whatnot. This was after Candace thought that Benny had died in the hospital because he was taken off life support. So basically, Jim and Candace meet in the park at night, and then Candace gets abducted by the Malones. Like, there's a bag over her head or something. What is it, like, that cyanide on a cloth or whatever to make her pass out. And then they take her away and put her in her van. And then Jim just kind of sits on the bench. And then I think he eventually leaves. At that moment in my mind, that's when the show took, oh, damn, this is getting dark. That's when I felt there was a major tone shift in like a different atmosphere for the haves and have-nots. But then it got to the point where Veronica was just like the poster child of, hey, this is dark, gritty. This character has no remorse for what she does. She murders, sets up, beatings and assaults and yada, yada, yada. And it just got to a point where Veronica doesn't feel like she belongs in the haves and the have-nots anymore. In my opinion, that's just me. It seems like Veronica would do well in a show like The Oval or maybe even Ruthless. Sisters, I wouldn't say is dark. It's definitely getting to some dark themes, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Harassment against those of a different orientation, mental instability, taking of one's life, the dangers of adultery and where that can get you and where that can lead, being judgmental, things like that. But I think that the haves and the have-nots, and I'm not trying to say like Tyler Perry should limit himself, but I feel like when you have something that is consistent and successful, you want to just stay in that lane. Like if you want to do the darker tones and whatnot, then that's great. Do that in the newer shows you created. But the haves and the have-nots, I feel like and this is me putting aside the repetitive dialogue, the repeated storylines and stuff like that, and really delving into the character roster, because I don't feel like she really fits anymore. Kind of like RK. When he was on the show, he definitely felt like a fish out of water, but in a good way, because he brought about a new kind of energy, comedic value to characters who are usually stoic, without remorse or emotion other than, greed and revenge. And yeah, I do feel like in some cases he overstayed his welcome, but not too much, So I think that, RK was one of those special exceptions to really remind you of like, hey, remember back in the early seasons when characters would have funny moments and those one-liners, they would go back and forth with each other. That's what RK reminded me of, how the show kind of used to be. But then you get to where the show is now, and it's like non-stop drama. And like, Jeremy, it's supposed to be a drama. I know that, but I'm just saying that the show has definitely come a long way, but maybe not in the best way, if that makes sense. So that's why I say Veronica Harrington, I feel has become, well, technically, she foreshadowed the future of Tyler Perry writing. Now, I don't know if it's because it's on BET and maybe Tyler was asked to do more grittier material for BET as opposed to the OWN network. I'm not 100% sure. But in any case, if you look at a show like Ruthless, a cult, come on now, when has he really brought that into any of his previous projects? And if he's done that, please forgive me for not remembering. But, the Malones, the mafia angle, that made sense. Wow, it was woven into the haves and the have-nots mentioned in the movie Medea's Witness Protection. But now you have a freaking cult that has the police scared. So that says something right there. But I'm not saying that Veronica can't change, but a lot of stuff has happened. So if she does change, it better not be a one and done it, blink and you miss kind of moment where Tyler doesn't really give her development. But I think that if anything else, hell, put Veronica in a crossover. That's all I'm saying. Like, she could pop up at any point in one of these shows. That would be great. But that's just my 2 cents. And just thank you all for bringing up that subject in a live stream yesterday. Do you think Veronica Harrington belongs in the haves and the have-nots? And try to really think about what I said before you comment. Veronica's the best part of the show. She's the only reason I watch, yada, yada, yada. It's kind of interesting how people can say that about Veronica, but then when you look at Tyler's newer shows, which follow a similar atmosphere and vibe to the character Veronica is now, you don't like those shows, but you love the haves and the have-nots. Maybe because Veronica's a fish out of water, as opposed to being just a nameless face in the many dark characters in like The Oval, for example. But, leave your thoughts below. Let's try to get this video to 55 likes. I think we can make that happen. As I mentioned earlier in the video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. On top of that, links to all my social media are in the description below. If you would like to donate anything to the channel, there's Cash App or a link to my PayPal in the description box below as well. Or you can join my Patreon for as little as $3 a month. I'm going to be doing more content over there. I uploaded 3 audio files. I feel like live streams on Patreon will get you notified. So for as little as $3 a month, just come on and I'll be able to do stuff there for you. We got 4 patrons so far, and hopefully we'll be growing as the calendar moves on forward. Hard to believe that this upcoming week is the final week of March, and then the week after that we only got 3 days and it's April. So sheesh. But stay safe, wash your hands, and let me know your thoughts on Veronica.